Yeah, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody tuning in. You know, everybody liking the video, everybody commenting, man. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know, man, I was just sitting back watching that little bit of footage that I think it was originally posted on PBC on Fox Instagram page. They had posted some footage from Manny Pacquiao's camp, and then they backdoored that with some footage from Errol Spence Jr.'s camp, some updated stuff. And I believe that they're probably just giving us snippets from the All Access, or their version of All Access. I forget what it's called, because I know Showtime does the All Access. I forget what PBC on Fox's version of that is called. But, you know, they're giving us some updated images. And, man, just watching Errol Spence and Derrick James on the mitts. Errol Spence Jr. in just incredible shape. It's crazy when you look back at how far Errol Spence has come. When you look back at his rise to stardom, becoming a world champion, calling out all these guys at 13, 14, 15, 16 and 0, looking at him in that Chris Algieri fight where he looked like a fucking action figure. Bruce Leroy, hungry, in amazing shape, you know, putting in the work, staying in shape year round, you know, just being a physical specimen and just an incredibly talented and skilled fighter with so much potential. Then you see him in the Leonard Bundu fight. Looked incredible. Strapped me up at the end of the fight when he knocked out Leonard Bundu, like, hey, that next fight, Kell Brook, yeah, I need that. I need that IBF mandatory championship opportunity. I need that. You know what I'm saying? Then you go overseas, you beat Kell Brook in a wonderful classic war. You know what I'm saying? A very tactical and technical war between two studs, two, you know, championship caliber guys. You know, you go over there and you victorious over Kell Brook. Now you the world champion. You go fight Mikey Garcia, top 5 pound for pound. Put on a beautiful display of boxing when everybody said that you wasn't a skilled boxer. You were one-dimensional. You didn't have any head movement, no footwork, no jab. You didn't have the intelligence and the ring savvy and ring generalship of a pound-for-pound elite boxer. Mikey Garcia said, I see something. I see something. I want to fight that guy. I want to fight the baddest man at 147 because I see something. You know, he ain't what everybody think he is, right? Go out there, you beat Mikey Garcia in masterclass fashion. Won all 12 rounds. You don't see a pound-for-pound fighter get beat all 12 rounds. Like, that's crazy. You know, Errol Spence doing some unbelievable shit, building up an incredible resume. You go unify with Sean Porter in a classic welterweight match that looked like Tommy Hearns versus Marvin Hagler. Looked like Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. Like some legendary type shit. These are the type of performances and the type of feats that Errol Spence is accomplishing in his career. Then you have the tragic accident. Thrown out of a Ferrari. Damn near lost your life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people doubted Errol Spence ever coming back to boxing. People thought he wasn't going to live. People thought he wasn't going to walk again. There's a lot of people that was hoping and wishing that he wasn't going to be able to fight again so they can talk shit and say, look, I told you so. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he wasn't going to never beat this. Oh, he wasn't going to beat Terrence Crawford anyway. You know what I'm saying? People wish for that to happen so they can talk shit. Just so they can push their narrative and their agenda, right? Then he come back, he fight Danny Garcia. Showed you some more wrinkles in his game. Showed you the counterpunching ability while coming forward with head movement out countering the counterpuncher and Danny Garcia, being busier than him, but still countering, still landing more counters, showed you the beautiful work of the jab, but in a different way. In the Mikey Garcia fight, he showed you that he can keep Mikey Garcia at a distance and use the jab and head movement and set up counters and be first also. But then he showed you that he can come forward with the jab using head movements and countering. He dominated Danny Garcia. The only thing that he didn't do to Danny Garcia is stop him. And that's the only thing that he didn't do. He literally dominated Danny Garcia in every which way you can imagine, skillfully. So one thing that I noticed when Errol Spence, when he was going into that Danny Garcia fight, when they did his, it was a live workout leading up to the fight. And he said, you're going to see a smarter fighter in this fight with Danny Garcia. When he said that, it was music to my ears, but then also it was like, I was like, damn, okay, so they really working on some shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's no surprise to me, because that's like Derrick James, he's a master boxing coach. He don't just coach, he's a teacher. He teach these guys boxing. He teach these guys the ins and outs of boxing from a fundamental and technical standpoint. That's why when you see, when people look at Errol Spence, they don't really see nothing, to the untrained eye, they don't really see nothing that stands out. They don't really see nothing flashy. All they say he's slow. You know what I'm saying? All they see in their eyes is just a basic fighter. But what they missing is the very essence of the greatness of Errol Spence and the greatness of Coach Derrick James. He teaches these guys boxing from a very fundamental level, where Errol Spence, he does damn near everything perfect in the ring, just from the basics. That's why it's so hard to beat him. And then on top of that, he's a southpaw, and he doing everything correct, from the jab to the head movement to the leverage on his shots to the distance control, sitting down on his punching, going to the body, you know, the timing, like controlling the pace of the fight, always being busy. So even though he's in certain fights, he's not landing knockout punches, he's still busier than his opponent, so he's gonna win rounds. That's why I tell y'all all the time, it's hard to beat Errol Spence without hurting him. It's hard to beat Errol Spence without knocking him out. It's gonna be very difficult to get a decision on Errol Spence, because he can knock your ass out, he can hurt you at any point in the fight, and then on top of that, he's winning all the rounds damn near. It's hard for you to win rounds on him consistently, especially at this point in his career, because he's evolved and he's gotten better and better and better and better and better and better. And in this fight with Manny Pacquiao, going back to what I initially was talking about, when that bit of footage that I seen from PBC on Fox, Errol Spence bouncing on his toes. You know what I'm saying? Bouncing on his toes, looking extremely fluid. The timing on point, the accuracy on point, the jab on point, and the focus is there. And he understands that this is the biggest fight of his career. This fight versus Manny Pacquiao is going to make Errol Spence an even better fighter, because he's going to be in there with a legend, a guy that's so experienced, the most experienced fighter in boxing today that's active, that's been in there with all-time greats, 8-division world champion, still probably, not even probably, he is still one of the fastest fighters in the sport, both foot speed and hand speed, one of the most athletic fighters in the sport still. This look that Errol Spence is about to get from Manny Pacquiao is going to make him that much better. And I think in this fight, just off of that footage that I saw with Errol Spence and Derrick James, look at Derrick James in shape. Derrick James in better shape than a lot of these fighters, if you want to be real. You know what I'm saying? But looking at how Errol Spence bouncing on his toes, just, he hasn't shown you his full potential yet. Errol Spence Jr. has not shown his full skill set in the ring yet. And that's scary, man. Remember, I told y'all, I made a video, I said, Errol Spence Jr. Skill is criminally underrated. I believe it was titled something similar to that. It was right after the Danny Garcia fight. Because I was so impressed with how he was able to come forward, move his head, be busier than the other guy, and then out-counter the counterpuncher. He was first, and then also he landed more counters. How you do that? How you first and you landed more counters? Normally the guy that's allowing the other fighter to be first, he's the one landing more counter shots because he's countering off of the guy that's first all the time. But Errol Spence was first and he landed more counters. And he was the busier guy. How is the busier guy landing more counters than the guy that's less busy? That's crazy. Errol Spence Jr. is only going to continue to get better. I believe in this fight with Manny Pacquiao, you're going to see an extremely, you're going to see an overall just complete fighter. You're going to see a guy that I told y'all in the first few rounds, the first 4 to 5 to 6 rounds is going to be where the fight is most competitive because Manny Pacquiao is going to be extremely energetic. That's when he's going to be his strongest. It's when he's going to have the most energy and the most stamina. And he's going to be trying to throw everything he can to hurt Errol Spence and to make him respect him. So you're going to see Errol have to make some adjustments. You might see Errol look a little bit off balance maybe in the first round or two. You know, Manny might, you know, hit him with an angle or something that kind of throw Errol off a little bit. But all this, Errol just going to be calculating data, downloading data, and getting ready to make his adjustment. And then you're going to see Errol start to adjust, get Manny Pacquiao's timing down. You're going to see Errol a little bit light on his feet in those first 3 to 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And then later on in the fight, you're going to see Errol just bite down and just go crazy. You know, I think you're going to see Errol box a little bit and try to use his jab and his distance, keep the fight in the middle of the ring from rounds 3 to 6. You're going to see a lot of that. And then after a while, Errol going to start coming forward when Manny, you know, when that engine slow down a little bit and that age start to set in, you know, and that fatigue start to set in, just like it did in the Jeff Horn fight and just like how it did in the Keith Thurman fight. And that's when you're going to see that bulldozer Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? But even then, you're going to see a whole lot of different things that, like small nuances, you know, just different angles. I expect to see just an all-around amazing coming out party type of performance for Errol Spence Jr. in this fight. I know everybody think, oh, he's biased because, you know, Errol Spence is from Dallas, Texas, just like your boy. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence is black, just like your boy. You know what I'm saying? Those things are true, yes. But I'm giving it to y'all raw and honest and from a factual standpoint. You feel me? I'm breaking this shit down and giving it to y'all analytically and giving it to y'all, you know, from a tactical and from an educated standpoint at the same time. So you really can't knock the shit that I'm saying, this knowledge that I'm giving you, because it's some real shit. You feel me? You know, so I expect to see a great performance by Errol Spence in his Manny Pacquiao fight. I haven't been this excited about a fight in a long ass time. I'm so happy about this shit. And 154 Errol Spence, that shit gonna be crazy. That shit gonna be crazy, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Have y'all been peeping the shit that I've been peeping? Just looking at the maturation process of Errol Spence, the journey. If you've been paying attention, watching the film and just seeing the growth, and from that footage that I seen, just with him bouncing on his toes, because a lot of people be like, bro, he don't got no foot movement. He can't, you know, he can't do this. He's stiff. He's slow. He like a robot. But man, why these dudes having so much troubles with him? Because those fundamentals, he doing everything perfect. when you got a motherfucker that's doing everything right in the ring, that shit ain't easy to beat. And on top of that, he's physically imposing. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.